And our Instagrams are live. So we should be all good and ready to go. Wait for people to get in here. Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. That's off. That's one of David's new shapes that I hadn't really thought about before. It's a great one. Ooh. But it repels there. How about that? So that means weird. That means octa would make a fine bridge between those two shapes. Right? Oh my goodness. But which orientation? Let's see. Welcome everyone to the chat. Working with some of the new shapes that I've been seeing one of our avid creators coming up with here and there. Figuring out ways I can get it connected with our lovely Shashibo octa. There we go, that's pretty nice. Look at that. Ha ha! Classic. It's always so fun to explore new possibilities, which are really popping up all the time. When you really play with Shashibo consistently, you're always finding new things. Which of these would you consider to be the correct orientation, for example? See how I can kind of get that piece opened up a little bit, and another where it's kind of closed off. Ooh. So I guess that must be the correct opening, because that's the only place where it wants to hold. But isn't that cool? Like, a lot of we have two ways of sort of defining what becomes a Shashibo shape, what qualifies as a Shashibo shape. And the ring, I think, is a great example of the second rule, which is making sure that it has relevance, right? Even if it's all loose on its own, it has some relevance. Whereas the easy shapes to identify are usually the ones that follow that first rule of holding their shape as an individual piece. Now, we've got, so it isn't often that we find a completely new static shape. Instagram asked, what is Shashibo? What a great question. Shashibo is this shape-shifting box that folds into over 100 different shapes. It's completely exploratory. There's no right or wrong way to play with it. It's all about seeing if you can find all of those infinite possibilities for connection. So, not only does each of those Shashibo fold into those over 100 different shapes, but it also is fully compatible with itself, like this. So you can build beautiful structures out of simple shapes, just like the star. And if you're experiencing Shashibo for the first time, I recommend that you learn some introductory shapes like opening the cube into the crown, flipping the crown over, taking this section in the back to open that into the star, and then figuring out how to navigate the Shashibo from there. The star is one of my favorite ways to visualize the geometry of the Shashibo, what's going on in here. So I've got this point, I've got actually 3 of this point on this half of the Shashibo. If I flip that Shashibo over, I actually have 3 more points right there. And if I open up each of the points on one side on that magnetic seam right there, and I make a shape called the hive, that would be the next step in our journey. Now if I take all of these sections that are connected back into the cube on the hive, I can take each of those sections and pass them through the middle, one at a time, just like so, opening up our Shashibo into this nice open ring. Another great landing zone when you're navigating Shashibo. I can close all 3 points of my ring into the middle all at once to make my UFO, and I can actually open my ring back up, and I'm doing a similar thing of closing all the points on one side, but simultaneously I'm closing all the points on the other side. So see how in this version of the ring, I'm taking all 3 of these big pieces as big old sections and moving them in unison together towards the middle. And in this version, I'm actually focusing on both halves. So there's 3 sections that want to close on this half and 3 sections that want to close on this half. And if I let them connect by these thin triangles while protecting that hollow space in the middle, I've made our hollow rhombic dodecahedron, or what we normally call the ball, the Shashibo ball. And that perfect cavity right in there, that hollow space, is the exact size of our cube. So we can close that right inside and find new ways of getting them to fold together, to move as a unit, and to get them connected. Oops, had the cube oriented in there wrong. That is an important part of getting them to move together. So making sure that I have that point where there are 3 seams coming together meeting with the same point that has 3 seams coming together on the ball. And if those seams line up, I can move them as a unit. What up, Save It Herb? Welcome to the chat. Guys, I gotta shout this guy out. He is absolutely killing it, working on some new shapes that he is discovering and documenting for us over on the Discord. So if you want access to that once it's complete, be sure to join our Discord link that I saw Ahmad drop in the chat already. And I was messing around just now with one of the shapes from that discovery, that exploration. Let's use our Atlantis designs to find some cool connections. So I'm going to get each of these opened up by squeezing along a magnetic seam. There's a magnetic seam running down the middle of every single face of Shashibo. So you're not going to be able to pick a wrong one. You're just finding one of those magnetic seams, putting your fingers on either end of that magnetic seam and squeezing a little bit so that you can see those sections start to come apart. You can grab that section, pull it open into the crown, and we have actually already gone kind of past the shape, but we need to do something before we can close it back up again. I need to take one of these 2 points, because this is a chiral shape, and open it up just like so. And then I want to kind of close it back to the crown, but you see how it stops just short of the crown? That's actually our shape. So I'm going to make different chiralities of that shape. And while I start to assemble these, we at Fun Emotion Toys are really passionate about engaging with our awesome shape-shifting community. We have a ton of people who love collecting and connecting with Shashibo, and so we are emboldened and excited to do things for them. We want to make sure that we're giving our enthusiasts what they want. And so one of those initiatives this year is a really much more formal celebration of National Shashibo Day. National Shashibo Day, if you don't know, is April 16th. That's 4/16. So it's this month, about 2 weeks away from right now. We are going to have a 4-hour live stream. I know, right? Starting at 4 p.m. and going until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll get to talk to myself, Mr. Jonathan Taylor, who is probably the OG Shashibo dude from back in the day, and the inventor of Shashibo, Andreas Honigschmidt. So if you want to be a part of that exciting event, mark your calendars for National Shashibo Day, 4/16. I'll get to why it's that day in a minute. What we also have going on, if you are an avid Shashibo collector yourself, is the opportunity to win cash prizes by engaging with us in various capacities. Okay, so check out our official announcement on social media platforms as well as on the Discord, which again is in a link provided by my mod, either to the side, down below, or above, depending on which platform you're watching from. And yeah, we can't wait to see what you guys create in that capacity. We have a competition about different builds. You can submit a build, and then I believe it's just a randomly generated winner and that kind of stuff. So we have a ton of awesome things planned for you guys, as well as some really great talks about the geometry of Shashibo, about how to play with Shashibo, about what is so inspiring about Shashibo, not just from us, but from some of you, some of our community members who have agreed to participate in that day as well. So huge shout out to those people. We can't wait to see you guys at that event. So mark your calendars for 4/16, April 16th. That's 2 weeks from now, National Shashibo Day. It's going to be an exciting day. And check in with your local retailer. We have a lot of stores who are going to be running events in working with us. Some of them are going to be on like the Saturday after or the weekend before or something like that. They may not all be on 4/16, so make sure you check in with your stores to make sure that you don't miss out on an opportunity to participate in Shashibo Squad, a great way to play with and compete with and shape share with Shashibo. And friends, of course. And friends, of course. And if you're seeing Shashibo for the first time, Shashibo is this shape-shifting box that folds into over 100 different shapes. It's a great STEM-accredited toy. It's a great brain break, a good brain teaser, a nice like puzzle. It's a little fidgety, but with more finesse. It's a really relaxing toy. The snaps and clacks and the clicks of the magnets as they come together to form various shapes, as well as when you get them connected together. All of this and more is just so much fun to play with and explore with Shashibo. So I can't wait to see what you guys create in coercion with that day. And yeah, I think that's all of the announcements. Cassandra's going to shout out in the chat if I missed anything that I'm supposed to tell you guys about that day, but we have a ton of exciting stuff going on, so make sure that you attend. All that said, while I was doing the beginning part of that announcement, I assembled this really cool build using both Octa and that new shape. We don't quite have a name for all these yet, so I'm not going to call it anything, but it is fully compatible with Octa, of course, just like all Shashibo are compatible with each other. But there's a couple of things that I could do here to get these guys connected. Let's see. Ooh, that's nice. Better to stand on those. I just need to set it up there and then connect them probably. That's pretty nice. But this is the shape. So you can see by working through different aspects of that shape that it is very close to a shape called the dragon. This is a shape that we call a dragon. He's got a big open mouth about to breathe fire on you with some gills or flaps or whatever it is that the dragons have on the side of their heads. But we're going to take one of these two sections right here and allowing our Shashibo to open up so we're not forcing any shape here. We can just open it up and pull it forward. And then we have the two mirrored versions, the two different chiralities of that shape. Super fun to build with. I was messing around with it earlier today. Ooh, that's a nice connection right there. Let's keep exploring with that connection. And I imagine that there's a lot of shapes that are going to come out of this exploration that we never even considered because we didn't have Octa when we first made our Shashibo guide. Ooh, that's nice. I have to make a couple more of those. Let's see if I can use my Octa to help anchor these, though, because while that's a nice and sturdy connection, because we have strong magnets, it could be sturdier for sure. Maybe the best way is like this. I'll have to work on that. But for now, I'm going to continue to add these around each other, just like so. You can start to see that's half of what I intend on completing. What the heck is going on there? Okay, so the units like staying together. We could also get there, as with many shapes, there are multiple ways to get to them. We can also make our seat and then at an angle open up one of those sections. That also works for sure. But that gave me two of the same, so I now need to make two of the other. And it's easier for me to pick the chirality if I make the dragon and then pull that side that I need forward. I have to do too much thinking to do the seat to do the seat one. Okay. Let's see if I can get that to stay. Let me actually first connect these pieces. and then connect the whole thing. If one of you could come over real quick just for a second so that you could help me trying to hold this build together while grabbing that fourth piece. Yeah, if one of you could just come over for a second and hold on to that piece. Come on, I'm a big boy. I can figure this out. There must be a way. Oh, come on. They do really want to close into that seat when you drop them, don't they? Just need a... Oh, you're right. I don't need one of you to come over and help me. I just need a third hand. That's way easier. Thanks, Cassandra. Sorry, Sassandra. Wait a second. Okay. Guys, you got to tease your coworkers, especially on April Fool's Day. All right, gonna bring these two sections together, and then, all right, now it's all connected. I just need to hold it in a way that you can see. Boom. That's really cool. Not a lot of magnets actually holding that together, which is pretty just impressive to me anyway. The build contest is open now. That is an important note. Thank you, Cassandra. I was talking about the build contest for National Shashibo Day. It's open now. You should submit ahead of time. We're doing the drawing for the winner on National Shashibo Day, or we're going to be announcing the drawing for the winner on National Shashibo Day. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And like I said, we're offering cash prizes for those things. So if you're looking to win some money through your mastery of Shashibo, you can submit a build. Tell us how many shapes is in the build, what you're calling the build, and give us a few other details, and we'll enter you to win. Cassandra, remind us what the top prize is. I think we're doing first, second, and third place, if I remember correctly. And our mod's gonna let you know down in the chat what you could be eligible to win. I think that's so satisfying. When you collect and connect with multiple of the same design, you just get that really nice and satisfying compatibility. All right, National Shashibo Day Build Contest. So to celebrate the National Shashibo Day, which is 4/16 as a reminder, 2 weeks from today, a little over, we are inviting you to show us what you can create when you collect and connect. So create a build with 2 or more Shashibo, take a picture of it, share it with us on Instagram or Facebook, and use hashtag National Shashibo Day. Tag us at Official Shashibo, like the contest post, which is on at Fun Emotion Toys or Official Shashibo, and you have to enter it to be eligible for the competition. You have to enter your submission by April 15th. That's the day before, at 11:59 p.m. All right. I know those of you who have been submitting homework assignments online know the 11:59 deadline detail. All right. So make sure it's to us by April 15th, because on April 16th, on National Shashibo Day, we will be doing the drawing and then announcing it during the live, which you can find wherever you're watching the live right now. It's going to be broadcast through the same channels. And we're doing a random drawing from all submissions, okay? So we're not picking whose build is the best. Don't worry. Or the biggest or anything like that. You're just submitting to be a part of the competition. Now, first place gets $1,000 cash. Super exciting. Second place, $500. Also extraordinarily exciting. And the 4 runner-ups. So we'll be drawing 6 people. 2 of them the top 2 get cash prizes, and then the 4 people after that get Shashibo cubes signed by the inventor of Shashibo, Andreas Honigschmidt. We're going to announce those winners during the live on National Shashibo Day during our Shape Summit. It's super exciting. I can't wait to see what you guys create. But make sure to tag us. All of that information is available on our social media platforms and on the Discord, which is accessible by a link down below. So check us out, guys. We can't wait to see what you create with this awesome prompt. And have fun. Have fun shape-shifting. Can't wait to see you guys on the day either. It's going to be a blast to celebrate the geometry of Shashibo. Oh, I told you that I would explain why it's on 416, and I'm going to do that right now. Oh, excuse me. Let's see, which designs am I going to use? I'm going to use Holographic 2.0. So, most people who play with Shashibo are aware that Shashibo works really great in 4s, okay? Yeah, we're talking math. Everybody, please take out your notebooks. Open your textbooks to page 416. And we're going to talk about Shashibo. So everyone knows, most people who play with Shashibo are aware that it works really well in groups of 4. So anytime that I have 4 Shashibo and I make the same shape 4 times, I'm likely to find some pretty nice symmetry. And there are quite a few shapes that especially work well in units of 4 that make a shape that is, say this 5 times fast, tetrahexagonally symmetrical. I believe that's the right term. Something like this, where in 3-dimensional space, no matter where you orient this, you're going to be able to find lines of symmetry. Okay? Tetrahexagonally symmetrical. Thanks for writing it down. Now, that was the same shape, the star, all oriented around the same point, so it is symmetrical in every direction. Each of the points are just as far away from the center of this build as each of the other points. It's an incredibly satisfying build out of a very simple shape, but there are quite a few shapes in this realm. Those are the hive. We just did the star. There's the hive. We just did the star, but I'll build it again just for posterity's sake. There we go. We also have the UFO. Makes a tetrahexagonally symmetrical build. That's this guy right here. Here's our tetrahexagonally symmetrical build. And the last one usually takes most people a little bit to find. And this isn't the only of the tetrahexagonally symmetrical builds. I believe there's a couple more. But these are the main ones. And this one takes people a little bit to find. Usually it's rings. It's 4 rings. And the ring doesn't seem like a shape because it's all loose and floppy when you first make it. But when I have at least 3 here, I can attach all of them together on these flat sides. And we start to get some rigidity. These pieces are still a little floppy though, so we take that 4th one, to complete our beautiful shape, just like so. So now I have these 4 tetrahexagonally symmetrical shapes. And they all have compatibility with one another as well. So that explains the 4. That's why we picked April. Now the 16th is adding a little bit of math into that. So 4 squared, for the people who have passed middle school math in the back, let me know what 4 squared equals. That's right, 16. Okay, which happens to be the number of people that we have watching on YouTube, I think. Anyway, but we have 16. That means that if I repeated any of these 4 Shashibo shapes 4 times, I'd be able to find something pretty cool. For example, since I happen to be closest by opening up these UFOs to making some more rings, we're going to find one of those pieces. So this is the 16 in 416. It's when I repeat any of my 4 Shashibo shapes 4 times, I find something pretty fun. First of all, I'm going to start by connecting these the same way I connected them to each other, just like so. And I'm just waiting for my 4th ring build. See how that second one doesn't hold on until I get 3. My 4th one right there. And with all 4 of my rings built into those sections, I get this really impressive build. So there's 416. It's 4 and 4 squared, essentially. Now, one of my favorite things to show people is possible with 16 Shashibo is using those 4 tetrahexagonally symmetrical shapes. Remember, we have the 4 hives. I'll just keep the 4 rings. We have the 4 UFOs, which, if you notice, that face on the top of that 4 ring and this UFO is the exact same shape. This one's just opened up, and so you end up getting a piece of that UFO right there that you can get when you close all 4 of them. And the hive and the star actually have a similar relationship. I'm going to set those aside. So if I take my star and get those connected again, boom, and I take my hive, I can actually see, look, the top of my star build and my hive are the exact same shape and the exact same geometry. Now, that becomes relevant because we all should know our hive and UFO combo. Our UFO fits perfectly inside that hive space. So it stands to reason that I can connect the rest of my hive around all of those UFOs to make a perfectly solid structure there. A lot of you know the ball goes right through the center of my star. And so if I follow that pattern by putting a star around every single one of those rhombic dodecahedral knobs, now we have, again, a very solid shape. But since this top is the same shape as that hive, and we know that this top is the same shape as the UFO, it stands to reason that we don't mess with our geometry a whole lot by just simplifying the connection, folding each of these back into UFOs, and filling in the gaps to make a solid rhombic dodecahedron that is double the size of the dodecahedron that I can make with just one Shashibo. And I think that that is some pretty incredible ways to learn and teach math, spatial reasoning, problem-solving skills, geometry, and all sorts of useful things like that, while being an extraordinarily fun and engaging toy that we know gets kids and adults alike off screens, engaged, happier, and healthier while playing with Shashibo. So, can't wait to see what you guys create with Shashibo. It's a really unique toy, and we're super excited to be celebrating this unique toy and the way that it has changed so many of our lives on April 16th. Mic drop. If somebody is watching on Twitch, clip it. This ring cycle is much faster than the traditional ring cycle. Ha ha ha. 8-leaf cave. All right. I just got a prompt. We're going to go down a geometric journey of discovery with a really cool shape called the leaf. I'm getting prompted by one of my good friends in the chat, King Ravana, to make 8 of these leaves. And I'm going to make a cave out of them. I'm going to guess that it's going to be based around that connection, but you never know. So I'm going to leave them separate for right now, and yeah, we'll see what I get struck by. Let's just go ahead and connect these 4. And we'll just kind of see where we end up, because we know this connection from the 4 spades. This just requires opening it up like so. Which I have explored with because it's a really nice way of making like an infinitely stacking structure, essentially. Get 2 octas to really help out. Okay. Ooh. So that might be a clue that I'm on the right path of where these pieces are connected, because I know that I can use my octa bloom to anchor those pieces. Just like that. Now, of course, we've got our table. Let's see. Am I following the right path so far? My Shashibologist guides. If you just heard the word that I said and thought that has to be made up, you're right. I mean, that's a pretty cave-like looking structure, but I need 8. Oh, Savid was thinking about the leaf ball, which, if I remember correctly, is more than 8. Shashibo. We could try for the ball, too. But let me know if I'm going in the right direction for the build that you want. And as per usual, if you don't let me know in time, I'm just going to keep going. Just going to keep building. I'm on the right path. For the cave, or for the ball. I think I can't be on the right path for the cave. But I do think that I could do something kind of cool here. With the ball. Yeah, man. Ooh, look at that. Ah, but they run into each other, don't they? So I just need to use halves. Like so. You're doing something else, I think, but keep going. I'm gonna. Thank you for the encouragement. Oh my goodness, I just realized I could have just left all of these in the hive build there, because I'm basically making the same thing with the balls, but you know, that's fine. Let's see. This is a tricky one because there's like no rigidity until you get it connected. There we go. What the heck? There we go. See, now that's fun. Only when you go too far do you know how far you can go. This is true. This is true. Oh, I could do UFOs around the outside. Instead of the balls, I could do UFOs, and that way I can fit 4. That's nice. See, guys, this is how I know Shashibo is infinite, because I have played with Shashibo a lot of times, and very few times have I made the same thing twice. Like, only when I find something that I really like and I show a bunch of people. And yeah, I can say with almost near certainty that I've never done this before. That is so cool. And then you can take the octa off once it's all connected, because it really is pretty sturdy. That's so nice. But I want to leave the octa on. I'm going to make that same thing with this one. Go. Ooh, that's such a nice design. Let's get a close-up of that. Thanks, Save It Herb. It is a good build. I appreciate that. King Ravana needs the egg stand ring. I'm going to pretend I know what that is and agree. There we go. We've made a lot of pillars in recent builds. That keeps on popping up. Next, we're going to find out that the Romans actually used Shashibo to model all of their architecture. Sorry for doing some of that off camera. Just need to do some figuring out here. Well, that didn't help me. Wait a second. What? Ah, I see. That's... Well, might not be able to do exactly the connection that I was thinking of, but I'm certain that there's something around there. I mean, I really like this. Right here, it actually means that we could have Shashibo squared, or Icasa in there. I think it's good that you guys get to see me be bad at Shashibo every once in a while when I'm exploring with stuff and I can't figure something out. Because, you know, I move very quickly through them in builds and stuff. This is something I deal with all the time at trade shows, is people watch me play with Shashibo and then they think, well, I could never do that. And it's like, I mean, to a certain degree, you may be right, but that's probably just because you're not as obsessed with this thing as me, and so you're not going to spend all of the time that I've spent with it. Right? So I think anybody could master pretty much anything. Ability, you know, like, sure there are probably some handicaps that keep you from skydiving and stuff like that, right? But largely, I think when you set yourself to something, if you're really dedicated to figuring out how to do it, you're gonna. We are a pretty smart species. So, don't sell yourself short when you're exploring with Shashibo. Have some self-confidence. Say, I can do this, and then try. With all your might. That's really nice. Thanks, good gang. Appreciate you tuning in on TikTok. Now, this is a nice little flourish on that pillar, but I could do something completely different. I could instead take all three pieces from one side and pass them through the middle to start. I could shortcut this for sure, but this is the easiest way for me to walk you through what the thinking is. We're going to work our way back to the star. And if I take points that are opposite each other, pointing in opposite directions on the star, and I pass one of them through the middle, and then pull it open so that there's room for the other one to pass through the middle as well, and I get this really cool shape called the bow tie. It's an in-between shape for sure, but I thought I was going to be really smart and connect it right there. Hello? There we go. I just had to flip it over. It's hard to tell where my connections are when I'm using the reflection of the stream, so figure that out. But a little bit sped up. We're just making some bow ties. And we're getting them connected all around the points of our pillar. Now, pillar versus tower is a scale thing, right? So depending on how big this thing is in your mind's eye, that probably depends on which it is. But I think it's a pillar. Not because it's a specific scale in my mind, but because it is symmetrical on top and bottom, and unless the tower that you're making is just cubes, it's likely that it isn't completely symmetrical on top and bottom. It might be wider at the base. It might actually be wider at the top than it is at the base if you're going for something in particular. But regardless, it's probably not completely symmetrical top and bottom. Otherwise, your brain would be like, wow, that tower looks like a pillar, you know? Any date for deluxe? Oh, yeah. Cassandra's got a good answer for that one. Not on the website. Oh, that's spiky and fun. Let's fill that out a bit. And we're going to use our new burrito series Shashibo, spiky and fun, yes. And we're going to make basically the same thing. We're going to make that bow tie, but we're going to let the bow tie close on one side. Doesn't matter which side, just one of them. Doing a bit of color coordination back here. Let me do that in front of you. So I'm looking for one of these pieces. I'm looking for this, the green one. The point that's green right now, I want that to be pink, so it's the same the whole way around. And so to do that, I'm going to open it back up. I'm going to look for pink, and I'm going to pick a point to the side of pink. I'm looking at a reflection, so I think this is the right one. It isn't. So I'm going to pick the other point. And that is it. See? Same design as it is right there, which means we've got some cohesiveness around the whole thing. Let's do that same thing up top with the burrito New Day design. Now let's take some blue planet and create the Z. Now all three of these shapes that I've been making for this build so far are based around the same thing, that bow tie. One of them I closed like this, one of them I left from the bow tie. This one, I'm going to take these 2 points that I just tucked behind each other to make the bow tie, and I'm going to pull them apart from each other to make the Z. The Z is a very helpful shape. I think I bumped that. I don't think it was too heavy for the magnets, although it could be. It's asking a lot. Oh, I lost this piece. There we go. That needs to go back up there. Ah, rats. Look, that one piece is just holding that UFO bit balance there. You take that off, and there it goes. Well, that was a fun exploration. I don't think that we found a cave, but we certainly found some pretty cool things along the way. Including this shape that it literally fell into. Isn't that cool? All these pieces were up here. They fell down. Most of them held on to their Shashibo. Which again just goes to show how strong these magnets are, man. Could even connect those at a different spot. Add my crowns back in, and now I've got, oops. Oh my goodness. All right. It doesn't have as many magnets holding it in that shape, so it makes sense. But I thought I could be gentle and get it there. If I added some more supports in, I definitely could pull it off. Only when you go too far. Yeah, it's the... Andreas said, that's never happened before. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever had a build fall apart, for sure. Rarely happens, rarely happens. I'll have to find a different exploration though. But that pillar connection was only possible because of that Shashibo octa holding the whole thing together right there. Isn't that nice? Such a satisfying connection between these two shapes. In fact, that gave us the opportunity to make another really cool pillar a while ago, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, I definitely made it a little farther than I thought I was going to. I mean, look at how I did the same thing on the bottom that I was doing on the top. And this is a sturdy build, let me tell you. And I think it's really cool that you can expose the vapor designs underneath. And I could put this little octa combo in there. Oh, that's nice. Because now what we're going to have to do, you see, is put that polar right back on top. So there's a magnetic connection holding those two pieces together. And then open up each of these, putting each of the cosmos designs in there. Come on, where is it? Here we go. I love these designs, man. The holographic 2.0s. Ooh. So that's a much thicker pillar, of course. A bit more squat. I can do the same, yep, same connection the whole way around there. Oops. That's nice. And then add my burrito designs in the crown shape. Oh no. Where's my last burrito design? What happened? Please, just let me finish it. Oh, it fell on the other side. Let me grab that. And we're back. Nice. It feels like I don't know, like a summer pavilion or something like that, you know? I don't know if you get the vibe. How many Shashibo dodeca is involved in this build? Let's see. We have 8 Shashibo as frills on the bottom and the top, so that's 16. And we have 16 Shashibo as our center, so that makes 32 Shashibo. Now, we also have 4 Shashibo octa in there. So we've got 32 Shashibo dodeca on the top and bottom. Or, well, 16 on top, 16 on bottom, 32 total. And then we have 4 Shashibo octa in the center here, holding those 2 pieces together with a little extra magnet. Super fun. Super fun. Yeah, 36 Shashibo in total, including both geometries. And I could have put some. I could have put some Shashibo Ikasa in there as well, man. Fully doable. Now, this one does stack without having the octa there. But the magnetic connection is not quite as strong, so the octa still definitely lends something. Now, we've had them connected at the fin part. And as is tradition when exploring with a new Shashibo build, let's connect the other halves. Meaning same pieces, but moving this to the top of the other. You'll see what I mean by a different connection in a second. Make this a little bit stronger with some octa. There we go. Oh my goodness. Keep on bumping things, all right? I only got so much space in frame. There we are. Shoot. That's okay. I was going to make a nice satisfying addition of one onto the other, but I guess we could add them on separately. That's fine or whatever. There we go. Beautiful. Like a UFO. The mothership, as they say. The mothership. Nice. What a beautiful build. Guys, this has been so fun to explore with. A great live. I'm looking forward to more. This Friday, I'll be live on Whatnot, running some auctions and discounts on Shashibo sales, as like flash sales, and doing some general tutorials and all that kind of stuff. So pop in there if you want to see some cool things. As well as on, I will be live next week. And remember, mark your calendars for 4/16, April 16th, National Shashibo Day. We can't wait to see you guys there. And it has been so fun hanging out with you guys. Have a great afternoon and happy shape shifting.